Hello, my name is Hunter Gertz, and you're watching the 300 Studios Web Design Training Camp video series. Alright, welcome back to episode 5 of Images. I've been very busy lately, and I was not able to get any of these videos done this weekend, unfortunately. So, in this video, we're going to learn how to add images to your page, choosing the right format, optimizing images for the web. Without further ado, let's get started. There are many reasons why you might want to add images to your website. You might want to add a logo. Sorry about that. Okay, next we can include a logo and photography, illustrations, diagrams, and charts. There are several things to consider when selecting and preparing images for your site. Excuse me. But taking time to get them right will make it look more attractive to your site and attract more visitors. There you go, now you guys can see. So in this chapter, we'll learn including an image in your website using HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. Pick which image format you want to use, such as JPEG, PNG, or bitmap. Show an image at the right size. Optimize an image for use on the web to make pages load faster. So let's continue on. This will be our final project when we're done. Choosing images for your site. A picture can say 1,000 words, and great images help make the difference between average looking site and really enhancing one. Images can be used to set tone for the site in less time than it takes to read description. You do not have photographs to use on your website. There are companies who sell stock images. These are images you pay for to use on your website. There's a list of stock photography websites below. So here's some. I prefer not to use. Here's one that's not on the list. It's called depositphoto.com. The link is right there at the bottom of your screen, as you're seeing right now on your tablet, YouTube, or my website. Storing images on your site. If you're building a site from scratch, which you are, it is good practice to create a folder for all the images the site uses. As the website grows, keeping images in a separate folder helps you understand how the site is organized. Here you can see an example of the files for a website. All of the images are contained in one folder. On a big website, you might like to add subfolders, grandfather folders, or parent folders. We'll talk about those in the near future. Inside the images folder, for example, images such as logos, buttons must sit in a folder called interface, and product photographies might sit in a page called products, which we are right here. And images related to news might live in a folder called news, as demonstrated here. If you are using a content management system or blogging platform, there are usually tools built in to add images and set your folders. You can see they have an images folder with all their images in it, as demonstrated, and the index folder, and the CSS will have another folder for that. So adding images are very simple. In the last video we talked about links. In this video we're going to talk about, In this video we're going to talk about adding images and using the links tag to put images in our website. So every image, we start off with the IMG tag. This tag right here that I highlighted for you helps us add an image. So let's come over here to our HTML code real quick. You see we have a less than sign, followed by the IMG tag, followed by the src command. And now this was in the links video. src is what we always put, followed by equal sign, punctuation button, and the images dash. Now this is a child folder. It's called a child folder. I hope I say that right. I hope I'm not wrong. But if it's not, then you'll find out later. But this is in a child folder because it has the images dash. That means it is not on the main page. Like if you open up your website folder and you have all your images on one site without anything in the folder, then that would be called normal file. But this is a child folder because we have the images dash means it's in a folder, and then that's the name of our. This right here is the name of our image, and then this dot JPG is what kind of image it is. So this is a JPEG image. JPEG for lots of colors, PNG for transparent, and what are the other ones? Oh yeah, GIF for logos. So ALT is if you did not have, well, this is very uncommon these days, but people are still using those super old computers. And yes, there are plenty out there because I see them every day. ALT stands for text. If the image is unable to display, it'll display text. It'll say a family of quokka, and then the title is quokka in Australian. When one person hovers over this image, it'll display that text. And we always end with a bracket line, and we always end with a greater than sign, and that's how we end HTML. So the IMG tag is to add an image into any page. You need to use an IMG tag element. This is an empty element, which means there is no closing tag. It must carry the following two attributes. src, this tells the browser where to find an image file. This is usually a relative URL. So if I wanted to make this go to a website, I can say dash src if we simulate equals parentheses www.http with a blah blah blah. Alt, which I just explained, is providing a text description of the image, which describes the image if you cannot see it, which I just explained, and a title if you hover over is going to show you, like I just explained. The height and the width of images. Okay, so let's get started. You also often see an IMG element used to other attributes that specify in the height and the width. Everything in HTML and CSS is done in pixels. If you look really closely at your computer screen or tablet, you'll see little pixels. This is what web browsers read. Okay, so here's the example. I have my less than sign IMG tag, src equals that child folder, alt the family, and then after that, I add this, the width command of 600. I want this to be 600 pixels over on my computer. So 600 pixels is about the size of this image right here. That's 600 little dots. And then the height is 450 dots going up and down. Here's a quick tip. Images often take longer to load than HTML code. That makes up the rest of the page. It is therefore a good idea to specify the size of the image so that the browser can read the rest of the text on the page while leaving the right amount of space for the image to still be loading. If your website or image everything is just images, and it takes more than 30 seconds, a person will leave your website within 7 seconds after visiting if nothing loads. So, just a quick tip there. Where to place images in your code. Where an image is displayed in the code will affect how it's displayed. Here are 3 examples of image placement. The produce image different results. Before a paragraph, this paragraph starts out a new line after the image, as demonstrated here in the highlight. Inside the start of a paragraph, the first row of text aligns with the bottom of the image, as demonstrated here. And then the HR is a line. So we put a line in, not a break. BR is break, HR is line. In the middle of a paragraph, the image is placed between the words of a paragraph that appears in, as you can see here. So, where you place the images in the code is important because browsers show HTML elements in 1 or 2 ways. Blocking elements appear on a new line. Examples of block elements include the H1 biggest text tag and the peak paragraph element tag. If the IMG tag is followed by the block level element, such as the paragraph tag, which is followed the P, Then the block level element will sit on a new line after the image is shown in the first example on this page. Inline elements sit within a block level element and do not start on a new line. Examples of an inline element include the B tag, EM tag, and the IMG element. I really don't know what the EM tag stands for, but I do know the rest thing. B stands for bold, and IMG stands for import image. If the IMG element is inside the block level element, any text or outer inline elements will flow around the image as shown in the second and third examples on this page, as demonstrated here. That was that text we saw above, up there. That's the code that you would get. Old code analyzing images horizontally. The align tag, that's what we're going to learn in this chapter. The align attribute was commonly used to indicate how the other parts of a page should flow around an image. It has been removed from HTML5, and new websites should use CSS to control the alignment of images, as you will see on pages 411 and 412, which I'll show you later on in the CSS video. I have discussed it here because you're likely to come across it as you look at older code. I'm sorry, I said cold. That was very rude. Insert the attribute which you are, and indicate how the image should be aligned. The align attribute can take these horizontal values. And here's an example. The align would be left. And then here they are. There's the left command, which is demonstrated here in the code, right there. And then we have the right command. So here it is. After we put the code in, you can see left gives the image on the left, right gives the image on the right. That's simple. As seen above, vertically this time though, we're going to do vertically. As on the last page, the align attributes is no longer used in HTML5, but it's covered here because you may want to use it in older browsers. There are three values that align attributes can make that control how the image should align vertically with the text that surrounds it. You have the top. This aligns the first line of the surrounding text with the top of the image. The middle. This aligns the first line of the surrounding text with the middle of the image. And then we have the bottom. This aligns the first line of the surrounding text with the bottom of the image. Let's take a look at the example. Here's the examples. The values of the top places the first line text appears at the top of the image. Surrounding lines of the text appears under the image. The values of the middle places the line and the text near the vertical middle of the image, and subline lines text appears under the image. So sorry about that, guys. I had to put up my Christmas tree. Because you probably didn't notice anything. Thank God for the invention of pause button. Otherwise, you'd been watching the screen for like 6.5 hours. No, 6.5 hours. You've been watching the screen for probably 2 hours. That's when I just start the video again. So 3 rules for creating images. There are 3 rules to remember when you're creating images for your website, which are summarized below. We go into greater detail on each topic over the next 9 pages. 1. Tip 1 I gives you. Excuse me. Save images in the right format. Websites mainly use images in JPEG, GIF, or PNG format. If you choose the wrong image format, then your image might not look as sharp as it would on the web page, and it'll be slow to load. The second tip. Save images to the right size. The right size. You should save the images at the same width and height it would appear on your website. If the image is smaller than the width or height that you have specified, the image can be distorted or stretched. If the image is larger than the width and height if you have specified, the image will take longer to display on the page. Tip number 3. Use the correct resolution. Computer screens are made up of dots known as pixels. Images used on the web are also made up of tiny dots. Resolution refers to the number of dots per inch. And most computer screens only show web pages at 72 pixels per inch. So saving images at higher resolution in images that are larger than necessary will take longer to download. So basically everyone says it will take longer to download. It's a new chapter. Alright, tools to edit and save images. There are several tools you can use to edit and save images to ensure they are the right size, format, and resolution. The most popular tool among web professionals is Adobe Photoshop. Yes, you're probably like, I don't got Adobe Photoshop. I'm a kid watching this on TV and YouTube here. I want to learn HTML. I want to learn CSS. And I found your video and I don't have Photoshop. Well, do not worry. I'm going to show you what you can use right now. In fact, Adobe Photoshop might be $1,000, or you got it for free, for legally. But there's another way. Log on to a website called Pixlr. Here it is right here. And click Professional. And it's Adobe Photoshop. It's just like that. For free. And you can save it out any way you want. Other software that you might like is Adobe Fireworks, which is paid, Pixelmator, PaintShop Pro, or Paint.net, or Pixlr.net. Here it is right here, the one I told you. Online editors is Photoshop.com, SplashUp.com, iPissy.com. Excuse my language here. Online Extra, you can watch videos that demonstrate how to resize images and save them in the correct format using both these applications. Da-da-da-da! Finally, we have hit image formats. JPEG. JPEGs are made up of lots of pictures, as demonstrated here. Usually black, white, orange, green, and violet. Whenever many of the different colors in a picture, you should use JPEG. You can see all these photographs use many different colors. The next image format is, yes it is, a GIF. I said you use this in your logos or illustrations. Take a look. GIF stands for moving picture or billions of colors. So use GIF or the PNG. PNG is transparent when saving images with few colors or large areas of the same color, as demonstrated here. Some web professionals out there, if you know this already, GIFs can also be moving pictures. Image dimensions. This is an important one. The images you use on your website should be saved at the same width and height that you want them to appear on the page. For example, if you have designed a page including an image that is 300 pixels wide by 150 pixels tall, the images you use should be 300 by 150 pixels. You may need to use image editing tools to resize and crop the image. The most popular among all of them is Microsoft Picture Manager, as demonstrated here. If you go in your Microsoft tools, Microsoft Office Picture Manager, and click Resize is the quickest way to do it. So there is two ways you can do this now. Let me just scroll up the page real quick here. I'm so sorry about that. Reducing image size is your first head. You can reduce the size of the images by creating a smaller version of the image. Increasing the image size, you can increase the size of the photo significantly without affecting the image quality. Example, if your image is only 100 pixels wide by 50 pixels tall, increasing the size about 300 would result in poor quality. The image will look blurry and blocky. Example, if your image is 300 pixels square, you can remove part of it, but doing so you might lose valuable information. So these are the three you can basically use: reducing image size, increasing image size, or changing the shape, called cropping, which I just said in my mouth. Next part of this video is cropping. Cropping images. When cropping images, it is important not to lose valuable information. It is the best to source images that are correct shape if possible. So the most popular of cropping tools is the portrait. Portrait. Here you can see an illustration of a giraffe that is best suited to appear in a portrait, as demonstrated here. Landscape. If we crop this illustration to make it landscape, we lose the head and the feet. If we add extra space to the left and the right of the illustration, the background is not continued. Landscape photos are for photos that go to the left and to the right. Portrait are up and down. So here's another example. Landscape. Landscape. Here we have a picture of an elephant. It goes to the left, goes to the right, a little bit above, but basically the whole image goes to the left. So here we would use the landscape tag. If we crop the illustration to make a portrait, we have shrunk the nose and the tail. And remember, don't add extra space. It's the worst tip I can give you, to never add extra space. This is a very important one when coming to websites to load faster, which many web designers are having problems with. They're saying to web designers these days, like, my website takes 3.5 minutes to load, or it takes 2 minutes to load, and I lose so many visitors each month. And many web designers are losing visitors because of this problem. Image resolution. Images created by the web should be saved at a resolution of 75 ppi, pixels per inch. The higher the resolution of image, the larger the size of the file. JPEGs, GIFs, and PNGs belong a type of image format known as bitmap. They are made up of lots of miniature squares. The resolution of an image is the number of squares that fit within 1 inch times 1 inch square area. Images appearing on computer screens are made up of tiny squares called pixels. A small segment of photographs have been magnified to show you how it's made up of pixels. The web browsers are on most desktops. If you zoom all the way in on Photoshop CS6 or CS5, you'll see all the little squares start to appear. These are known as pixels per inch, and each one is 1 inch. So, computers display images at a resolution of 72 pixels per inch. That's 72 inches. Such as books and magazines, made up of tiny circles called dots. For this image of this fox, as you can demonstrate here, is a JPEG at 300 dpi, and it is 1,526 kilobytes. This is memory we're talking about now, and that's very high, and that's going to make the website load longer. And if you make it, you might want to make it really, really nice, big, bright image, but it's going to take longer to load, so put Texas there. Next one is JPEG at 72, which is a lower format, and it's going to load a lot quicker because it's 368 kilobytes. Kilobytes is small, you get megabytes, which is bigger, then you get gigabytes, which are really big. Then you get trigabytes, which are huge, and very big. Next we talk about vector images. Vector images differ from bitmap images and are resolution independent. Vector images are commonly created in programs such as Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape. When an image is a line drawing such as a logo, illustration, or diagram, designers will often create it in vector format. Vector formatted images are very different to bitmap images. Vector images are created by placing points on a grid and drawing lines between those points. A color can be added to fill in the lines created. The advantage of creating line drawings in vector format is that you can increase the dimensions of image quality, affecting the quality of it. Also, it makes things look really nice. So on my desktop here, this is a vector image I paid for on Depop Photos, Christmas Wonderland. This was done in Adobe Illustrator. You can see the light over here, done using a paint. The white snowflakes, done. This is the gradient over here, the moon, and the color of the house lot was painted using, and you see some lines here. You can see, I'm so sorry for shouting, guys. I just like sorry. And then we see here, got the color, a nice gradient on the house. That is a vector image. And then, so let's scroll down here. The current method of using vector images for display on websites involves saving bitmap version to original vector and using that. Scalable vectors are known as SVGs. Are a relatively new format used to display vector images directly on the web, eliminating the need to create bitmap versions of them. However, its use is not yet widespread, which means not every web editor or system or code editor does not support SVGs yet. So right here is a lovely picture of a logo done in SVG. And I'm sorry if I'm yelling at your tablet. I talked a little bit about this in a couple pages up, but animated GIFs. Like I said, GIFs can be still images or they can be moving. And an animated GIF shows several frames on an image in a sequence, and therefore can be used to create simple animations. If you do any more than 7, you're risking the chance of it depopulating, which means stacking on top of each other. And then when you play it on your website, it's going to be really stupid. So below you can see individual frames that make up an animated GIF that shows a rounded dot resolving a circle. Let's take a look. So this is 8 frames. Usually 8 frames is pretty good. There it is. So the first frame is this dot. Then the second frame goes to the next one, then you can get the picture, and then it goes all the way around. 8 frames, it's going to repeat itself again, and again, and again. That's an animated GIF. It keeps going on and on and on. Transparency, known as PNG. Creating an image that is partially transparent or see-through for the web involves selecting one or two formats. Transparent GIF. If the transparent part of the image has straight edges and is 100% transparent, that is not semi-opacity, you can save the image as a GIF, which is transparent option selected. PNG, most commonly used, if the transparent part of the image has diagonal or rounded edges, or if you want a semi-optical or drop-down shadow, you need to save in PNG. Transparent PNGs are not fully supported in older browsers. So this is a transparent GIF right here, and the rest are PNGs. Let's continue on. HTML5 figure and figure creation. In this part of the chapter, we'll learn about creating the figure element and the fig caption element. Images often come with captions. HTML5 has introduced a new figure element to contain images and their captions so that the two are associated. You can also have more images inside a figure element as long as they all share the same caption. The fig caption element has been added to HTML5 in older to allow web pages authors to add a caption to an image. Before these elements were created, there was no way to associate IMG element with its caption. So here you can see the example. We have a figure element by an IMG, by an SRC, the image, the alt text of 2 otters floating. So figure is going to show an image, and then below it, it's going to display this text, as demonstrated here. The figure caption is a break, and 3 otters hold hands. That is a fig caption. So let's see our final example. We have finally reached our end of this video. So, in this example, hold on a second, so sorry about this, guys. In this example, the logo is the GIF because it's flat colors, while the photographs are JPEGs. The main photo is placed inside the HTML5 figure element and has its own caption. The alt attribute on each image provides a description for those using screen readers, and title attribute provides. This is shown in the tooltip. This example does not use the height, width, or the line attributes, being phase or properties instead. Let's hurry up and get this video over with, please. let's continue on. Alright, so go ahead and open up your text editor. We're going to get started real quick here. And we're going to build a quick sketch of that example. So let's go ahead and get started. So we want to start off by starting off with a doc type. Start off the HTML. We'll start off the head. And we're going to start off our title. We'll end the title. Call it site 1. And we'll end the title real quick out there. Go ahead and end the head. And we'll start the body right below the head. So start the body. And I want to add a figure, F-O-U-R-E, which we said below. And then below the figure, which, excuse me, I'm saying a bad word. Sounds like you're saying a bad word, but not. But we actually want to start off with an H1 document, as demonstrating an example here. So actually, it's not the figure, my bad. It's the H1 tag. So H1, big text. And inside the H1, we're going to start an image off. So we're going to start tab key. We're going to say img src equals, and you'll punch in we'll call this logo.gif, even though this is not going to work because it's a dead link. Because I don't got a real image to show you guys, unfortunately. That seems to be the problem. And go ahead and double tap. We'll add an alt equals the logo. Simply we'll call it the logo. And the width is going to be equal to 200 pixels by a height of height equals 200 pixels. And we go ahead and end that. So sorry about that, guys. Next, we'll end the H1 because this is the ending of our H1 document. On line 11, we'll start off, like it says, with the figure tag. So we'll say F-I-G-U-R-E. And the figure is going to be this. The IMG chocolate. And we'll basically put, I'm just going to copy to save time. But I hope I'm not cheating by doing this. But there we go. And go ahead and save it. And we'll come down to the next line here. And inside this line, we're going to start off with the paragraph tag. So we're going to start off this time with a paragraph. We're going to say, this is a lovely day out today. Oh, today. And I'm just going to show you what a paragraph looks like. So it's a lovely day out today. That's going to be our paragraph tag. And go ahead and end the paragraph. Just like that. So after you end the paragraph, I'm going to add a fig caption. I'm coming. And then finally we'll add the fig caption. We'll go ahead and end our body. And we'll go ahead and end HTML. Go ahead and save this. Then after we open it up and test it, we'll get this. And here's our final example. We have the text that said the logo, which if you come back up here, come back to our image, it says Alt, the logo. It's displaying text because we have no image. And then we have our image, another image, we have the paragraph, and we have the fit caption. And that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Email me at 3studiosdesign@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.